Hey everybody, I'm Rousseau and I do a little work here and there. You are watching Raconteur Weekly. This time I'm going to teach you a trick, or a tip, I suppose. I'm going to tell you a tip. Something that I do when I make small molds, and something that you can do as well. I've gotten together the two smallest of the Fallout models that I'm making, and this is the first part of the tip. I'm making a mold of the two of these together because, especially the little ammo crate, it would be difficult to mix a small enough amount of resin to pour in a single mold of that. Doing the molds the same way I've shown before, with silicone caulking and cornstarch. You can check out the other video if you want to see that. The biggest problem with any step of this is going to be figuring out how to prevent bubbles, but we will get to that. Of course, I've said it before and I will say it again. This is about as small as I would ever want to make things. Or, at least things that need to be detailed enough to be recognizable. Unless I only have to do one, and then I might go to the trouble, but without any sort of specialized equipment, we will just have to make do. Step one is make the first half of the mold. You see I had those sticks glued on there, so I'd have some sort of pre-built structure for pouring. I could always cut it in later, and I probably will do a bit of snipping here and there, but this does help if you don't want to make that from scratch. Step two is about what you would expect. You make a second half to that mold, and you can see it looks like those sticks really worked out. We can now tell which way's up, and there will be holes there. I'm going to pull this apart off camera, do a little inspection. Everything should be fine. I'll probably end up doing a little bit of cutting while I'm off the screen there. Now, this is something that I'm going to do between each casting in response to the bubbles that I see and that sort of thing, but I'm also going to do it now in an effort to get it ready for the first pour. Here we go. Now, what exactly I've done here might not be immediately apparent, but I blame that on contrast. Really, most of the work in this first phase is devoted to making these spouts on the top, more of a funnel shape, and also making a channel between the two. That being said, all of this is in an earnest effort to reduce waste. You can't eliminate waste. You're always going to have some part A or part B that clings to the side of whatever you mixed it in, but especially with something this small, like I said, it's very easy to pour way too much. That was a 50 times fast forward of some of the extra that I had, just because it looks cool. So the basic idea behind all of this is that you cast enough that you can make a mold that has, say, 4 of the thing or 5 of the thing, maybe if it's bigger than just a couple. But, a mold where it's easier to measure out the amount of stuff that you need. Because I can tell you, this wasn't easy. The other thing that I did do is clip extra parts out of the mold to let bubbles escape. I used the Alumarez RC3, worked out pretty well, but the jury's still out on that one. But I will say, keep all your bubbly bits, because those things can be useful. I'll just say, think various states of disrepair. You're gonna have tons of these things. Might as well mix it up. More on that later. Until then, you've been watching Raconteur Weekly on Rousseau Works, and I am Rousseau, out.